Alright, so we have finished everything in the what we had to discuss in the introduction, except the logic or the algorithm, how to think about a logic and the study of algorithm that we are going to discuss after you get to know the basic features of a programming languages and what elements a programming language provide so that you can represent the particular logic in that particular language. So in this class we are going to start, we are going to enter into the discussion of the C programming language itself. And the first thing that we are going to discuss is how to print on a screen. In fact, this is the simplest where it does not involve any variable or anything else, and any programming language study starts with printing something on screen. First of all, I think you have seen these already. I'll just mention what are the various parts of a C program are. And as you know that if you execute this, compile this program and execute this, it will print a hello world on the screen. Now in this program you can see several parts, and during the discussion of lifetime of C program I have discussed some of its part as well. This is the header file. Because first of all, before telling what header file is, first of all let me tell you, this is the function int main. The general structure of a function is some which we call return type. In fact, we will discuss about this in much details when we will discuss about the functions. And to understand the return type, first you have to understand what are the various data types there are. Return type, then a function name, right? These are the placeholders. I am putting the placeholders on the both sides. That means you will put the corresponding identifiers at their places, and then within the brackets you pass the parameter list. Okay, as for example, and then this is called the body of the function or definition of the function. This is a general structure of a function, and as you can see here, its return type is int. Now what int is?
Sir,
bolo.
Sir, parameters list or both parameters list including the data type of their individuals?
When I am discussing about parameter list, that means it includes the parameter list in the sense data type, then the parameter name. This together is a one parameter. Data type and then the parameter name, comma data type. That means first parameter involves the data type and the parameter name, comma, then the second parameter involves the data type and the parameter name, and so on. Right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
As for example, say int, say sqr of the function. Maybe I can write an add function, int a, int b. This is one parameter, this is another parameter. This completes the parameter list. Now, as for example, here int is the return type. But to understand what int is, you can see several use of int here and there. For many of you, for those who are initiated in these discussions, you will get to know about what int is in much details when I will discuss about the data type. But for now, consider this int is a data type that determines what is the type of certain data. As for example, when I am writing int here, that means every function, let me write this here, that every function, I am just mentioning some properties of function in fragments. You will be able to link each and every factor of these. In fact, we will go into the much detailed discussion of function in later part of this course. So every function can return some data. As for example, if you can remember our discussion of say, let me go to that location. As for example, here in the helper.c, you can see one function. Its return type is also int. The function name is sqr, then it has one parameter, int a, single parameter function. Now, every function, it can return some data after do the corresponding calculation. After doing the corresponding calculation, in fact, after performing the computation. The computation for which the function has been created, as for example, in this case, the function has been created to calculate the square of a number, right? It does the calculation and then it returns the result of the square, right? And the result, the computation result for this function, the data type for this result is int. But what int means, I'll discuss about this in very details when I'll discuss about data type. Okay, so every function can return some data after doing the computation, or it may not return anything. It will only do the computation, but will not return anything. As for example, here int main, it returns an integer data that you can see here, return 0. It returns 0 is an integer. It returns an integer data, that's why its return type is written as int, and it is doing the corresponding logic or the corresponding computation, as we say, that we are telling it to do, and it is doing this hello world. That means we are telling it that in the logic perform the show the hello world string on the screen. Okay, so int is the return type, this is the function name, and in this case, as you can see, the main is not taking any parameter, but in fact the complete definition of main in fact takes 2 parameters. Okay, but I will discuss about them when I will show you about the command line arguments. Those parameters are used for command line arguments. There are also 2 parameters, but obviously to understand these parameters you have to go a long way in this course. So this is optional for main, but this is the complete definition of the main function. You may write it or you may not write it. If as you are not working with command line arguments, you can skip these argc and argv parameters here as well. So for those who could not understand this, what I have written here, don't worry, we'll discuss about these in much details later as well. Okay, so for now, consider this as the function. So return type is int, is the name of the function. Then this main is not taking any parameter. As you can see, the parameter list is enclosed within enclosed within 2 brackets, 2 parentheses, and as it is not taking any parameters, so I have just written two parentheses. And then in the body of the function within two braces, this is the first brace, opening brace, this is the closing brace. Doesn't matter whether you write here or write here. C program does not really care about the spaces you provide to it, unlike Python. Uh, so here, this is the body of the function that tells what is being done in the function. And the speciality of the main function is main function is the entry point of a program or of an application. Okay, so if you write this program and if you want to create an application, just make sure you should have one and only one main function, and that will be the entry point. Okay, there is another format in writing main, where we return nothing from main function. Remember what I said here. Every function can return some data. As for example, it is returning 0 or data. That's why I provided as a return type if int, or it may not return anything. And if a function returns nothing, in that case, in the place of return type, you will write void. If a function, these are all keywords, void, int, right? If a function returns nothing, the return type is specified as void. Okay, and you can also write here printf hello world, and it will do the same thing. Observe here, I have not returned, just 1 second. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. Let me continue where we ended. So, as you can see that in the void, in the case of void, I have not written any return something. That means this function is not returning anything. It is just only doing the computation, and the computation that I have mentioned it to do is to simply print the hello. Excuse me. Simply print the hello world on the screen. So it is only doing the computation, and without returning, and it is not returning any data. Okay, so that's why it is void here. So,
Sir,
bolo.
what is the meaning of not returning anything?
As for example, it is returning a data, right? Eventually, when you are invoking a function, as for example, let me just tell you. As for example, suppose here you have the SQR function, right? Now in the test.c, I'm invoking the SQR function from here, and what helper.c is doing is that it is taking this parameter type. Let me write this 3 directly here to ease the discussion. It is taking the parameter 3 here. A is taking the value of 3. It is doing the calculation, that doing the squaring of 3, and it is returning 9 here, right? So the value, this square function is returning the value 9 there. Now suppose if I'm writing void here, and maybe obviously I cannot write return here, maybe say printf something, say hello world or anything. I'm just writing it randomly. Now obviously cannot assign it to any variable now. Now you are calling SQR3. A is taking the value 3. Now here it is only printing hello world. Then without returning any data, it is simply executing. It is not returning any data. That does not mean that this function is not returning. Eventually, when SQR3 is invoked, the control goes here, it prints the hello world. Then when the function ends, the control comes back here. Is it clear? Let me write it on this. Suppose let me write some functions. So void f, and suppose I am writing here printf inside f function. Okay, and suppose I am invoking f from here. What is happening here is that when I'm invoking f, the control is going to the first line of f. The control jumps from here to here. It is printing inside f function. Now after printing it, the function ends, and when the function ends, it will come back to where it has been invoked. F was invoked here, so it will come back here at this point, and so it will continue executing from the next line onwards, because this line's execution has been done. As soon as the function comes back, this line's execution has been done. So function returns anyway, but it is not returning. It is not returning with some data. Is it clear?
Sir.
It will be much more clear when I'll discuss about the details of functions and data types. Okay. Right. So for those, maybe many of you have not understood completely what has been discussed in this complete discussion. For now, in fact, all these topics will be clear to you as we will discuss about functions and data types. So don't worry about if you have not understood it completely. But as a simplest term, consider something like this. We will always write int main and then at the end we will write return 0, and then we will write the complete logic here. whatever logic you want to implement, that will be written between this line, the first line, and prior to return 0. You will write all your logic for now here. Okay, and that logic, bolo.
At the place of 0, can I write anything, anything else like 1, 2, 3, 9?
Yes, that has a significance. If you write to understand what is the significance, okay, you already know about the operating system, I think, right? So see, operating system invokes this your application, right? Operating system invokes the application. Now, when application ends, remember this thing carefully. When an application ends, it is important that OS knows what is the status of the application after it ends. OS needs to know the status. Needs to know the status about how the application ended. What does it mean? Maybe some application may end normally, that means it has been executed completely, everything normally, and it finished naturally, and it went back to the operating system again. That means it gave back all the files, PCB, each and everything to the operating system back. If you can remember from our discussion of process management, everything that operating system gives to the application when it starts executing, the application will give everything back when it will end to the operating system. The memory space where it was loaded, each and everything. Now, when the application will end, operating system must know how the application ended. Did it end normally, or something, or some abnormal criteria happened within the logic for which it ended. Right? It matters to the operating system. Though when you execute them, from the user level, you will not understand the difference. But inside the operating system's process control, process management part, the difference occurs. So it is always important for the application that it tells operating system how it ended. If it is return 0 means our application has ended successfully. Okay, the application has ended successfully. Whereas return, then any non-zero value means application terminated abnormally. Okay, because eventually when the application starts, this is the entry point of the program. So you can think that the operating system is giving the address of this first instruction to the processor, right? If you can remember our discussion from the operating system. So when it will return this value to the operating system itself, right? And operating system will get the return value. It is only for main, remember. Whereas it is only for main. Consider something like this. Operating system enters main function, executes everything, then returns to the operating system again. Whereas for the other functions, main function invokes the other function, and when it returns to the main. If some entity invokes a function, remember this, if some entity invokes a function, when that function will end, it will come back to the entity itself who called it. Okay, so if operating system calls some function, it will return to the operating system after it ends. If main calls some function, when that function will end, it will come back to main. Okay, if some other function, say some function f1 invokes another function g1, when g1 will end, it will come back to f1 because f1 invoked g1. Is it clear whatever I am saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it is only the main function that is invoked by the operating system, because this is the entry point. Operating system starts this application by invoking the main function. So when main function ends, this return value is for the operating system itself, and from this return value, operating system understands whether your application ended successfully or terminated abnormally, and that is important for the operating system to understand the status of each process. Okay.
Sir, what will be the effect of terminating abnormally?
The effect will not be seen at the user level. Okay, let me go to a bit deeper discussion then. Suppose I am compiling this, say gcc test.c. Okay, and then I am executing a.out. Okay, as you can see, the function got invoked, it got printed. When it got printed, it came back here again, and from next point on, from next line onwards, the normal continuation of main carried on, and it printed hello world. Then it returned 0 to the operating system. The fact is, this a.out, from which application you invoke this a.out? Inside this terminal, right? Terminal is a process that was running. Your a.out become a child process of a.out become a child process of this terminal. Okay. The fact is, when the function ends, when your application ends, when the last application ends, the terminal always knows with which status that application ended. Okay, as you can see, 0 got printed here. It is important, as I've said, it is not visible at the application level, but inside the operating system, the operating system keeps an information which process ended abnormally and which process ended normally. And as you can see, suppose if I put here return, say 1, that means I'm representing some abnormal termination. See, from the user level, you did not understood any difference, but shell and the operating system knows about this. Okay, and truth to be told, in the greater depth, in the implementation of the operating system's kernel, what effect it does on PCB, I do not know about that. I'll study about that once, and I'll tell you in the next class. But this is known to the operating system and the shell, as you can see from here. Okay. Does it answer your question?
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay. And everything, all this information goes to its parent process, that means this terminal. With what status that particular child process is ending, all this information remains to the parent process. So to represent normal termination, we always write return 0. We always provide return some non-zero value only when we represent. It is a common customary that when we represent that the the user has provided some abnormal input. Maybe user has provided such input that it is leading to a division by 0, right? So in that case, we write an error message, and then we end with some return non-zero value. Okay, to represent that the program did not end normally, rather user provided some wrong value and it ended abnormally. Any other query regarding this? Okay, so in a simplest term, as I have said, always consider that the complete logic will be written here in the int main. Okay, before return 0. Now, now let me tell you the structure of printf a bit. Printf in general takes a string. Okay. Now this is placeholder. It is not necessary that you will write the string with this this opening angular brackets and closing angular brackets. It can be any string. As for example, the hello world here, or maybe inside a function. And a string is a collection of characters. You'll understand about array later on, and then you'll understand in fact a string is an array of characters. But for now, those who does not understand what an array is, we can something like this: a string is an array of characters or a collection of characters. Collection of characters. Now, what printf will do is that, by now you have already understood that it will print the string on the screen. In fact, printf does not always take only a single string, rather it takes a multiple number of parameters, a variable number of parameters based upon the structure of the string. But you will understand that fact when I tell you about the variables and how to print variables. For now, let us consider about the simplest strings. That means simply like any simple string like hello world or inside a function. Let me remove these parts to keep this part simplest. Okay, so as you know that this will simply just print the hello world on the screen. In fact, after compilation, gcc test.c will compile and produce the a.out, and on the same line you can invoke that a.out. So this will simply output that hello world on the screen. So whatever string you will provide here, that will be printed. And remember, every function is a sequence of comments, or is a sequence of statements and blocks. I'll discuss about the blocks later on. For now, consider it is a sequence of statements. A statement tells to do something, and it ends with a semicolon. Okay, this semicolon. And the statements are executed sequentially. That means what? If you write, suppose this first statement, if you write another statement here, that will be executed here. Okay. So if I write, say, printf, say, welcome to C. See, this is one statement that tells to do something. That means what it tells is that print hello world on the screen. So this is one statement. Once this statement has been executed successfully, then we will come to the next statement. So it will start from the first statement, then it will next print the next statement, then it will go to the next statement, and so on. It will execute the statements sequentially for now, because later on you'll study about the loops. So as the simplest way, in the simplest study, these statements are executed sequentially. As for example, if I execute this, you can see that first statement got executed, hello world. Okay, then as soon as this statement got executed, it came to the next statement and it printed welcome to C. Okay, maybe you could have done this in the same line, and it would give you the same output. Okay, I think I missed an L from here. Now this is the basic fact about printf. That means whatever string you provide to it. So two basic facts you have understood, you have known. First, whatever string, the simplest string you will provide to it, it will print it as it is on the screen. And secondly, if you provide multiple statements, it will execute those statements sequentially starting from the first statement, one by one. Now, as you can see, suppose I want to make this string to look somewhat better. As for example, as you can see, suppose I want to give a new line here, right? Or maybe I do not want to start the shell immediately after it got printed, rather I want to give a new line here. For that, there are several special characters which are called escape characters. Escape sequences. This slash is, remember, this backslash is the escape character, not the other slash. So this backslash, then any character, by writing here, I again do not use these angular brackets, this is just a placeholder, by which I am meaning that any character. In fact, rather than any character, it is better to say some specific characters. Some specific characters carry a meaning together. This backslash and that particular character carry a meaning together. As for example, there are multitudes of escape sequences. You can explore them yourself, but let me tell you some of the most common ones. /n, this gives a new line. As you can see here, suppose if I give a /n here, okay, and if I execute this, as you can see, after the hello world, this /n together carries a meaning, right? And it gives a new line. So hello world, then it comes to the next line. You can see the difference from this output and this output. the difference that created because of the slash n. It created a new line and then it printed welcome to C. So if I want to have the output like welcome to C will get printed and then the shell will start on the next line, I'll just give another new line here. Okay, so wherever I'm putting this slash n, even if I give the slash n here, if I give the slash n here, you'll see the hello world exclamation, then the next line you'll see WELCO, then on the next line you'll see MEE2C. Because of this slash n, there is another new line that appeared here. Okay, so you can structure your output with new lines properly using the slash n. So slash n gives you new line. Slash t gives a tab.
Sir.
हाँ बोलो.
Sir, sometimes if we want to print the path of anything, generally we use backslash and comes into the picture. Then we actually don't want to print that into a new line, whereas we want to print the path. Then
yes, how will you print a backslash itself? I'll come to that point. Okay. So slash t gives a tab. Now, what is tab? Generally, in most systems, tabs are equivalent to 4 spaces or 8 spaces, depending upon the system settings. Okay, it is equivalent to 4 spaces or 8 spaces, and it depends upon the system. As for example, in my system, it is set to 4 spaces. So, if I provide, say, as for example, you can see that welcome, there is a single space between welcome and to. I'll remove this space here and will provide a slash t here. Now look at this. This slash t together will provide the tab and will create a 4 space. I think I have not saved it. It is still giving a single space. Just 1 second, let me check it out. If I give slash t here, now as you can see, the 4 space appeared between WELC and OME, right? There are 4 spaces here. So this tab produced the 4 spaces. But what happened here when I provided slash t? Let me just check once.
Sir, is it because of TT?
Should it be? Because this slash t together should provide the corresponding meaning. Let me just check. I'll have to check this fact this once, then yes, I think so, because of slash tt. Okay, because at all the other cases it is giving me the slash t is giving me the 4 spaces.
Sir, slash n and together doesn't give a new line, I think.
Okay, let me check. No, it has given a new line. It has printed the n here.
Oh.
Okay. So slash tt should not create any problem. There is nothing like such in grammar. But why it is behaving in this manner, I'll have to check that out. But as you can see, wherever I am giving the slash t, except here, why I did not give here I'll check this out and let you know in the next class. But it in fact surprised me. So why it happened here? Somehow it is always giving a single space when I'm giving between welcome and to. But well, I'll check this out. But what happens is there in general /t gives you a space equivalent to 4 spaces. This is equivalent to 4 spaces because if I give 4 spaces here, 1, 2, 3, 4, you will get the same output. Okay. Now the fact is, though the tab is equivalent to 4 space or 8 space depending upon the system, for the system itself, in fact in the string /t, that means tab and space are different. Though tab is equivalent to 4 spaces, but tab and space are different. Later on, when I'll show you how to obtain the length of the characters, length of the strings and so on, there you'll see that /t itself is being taken as a single character, the tab character. The tab which is above the caps lock, that gives us different signal than the space key on the keyboard. Okay, these two are completely different. Okay, so /n/t, then /b, it is equivalent to backspace. Okay, as for example, suppose if I give the backspace here, okay, what happens if I press the backspace here? E will be deleted, right? So if I provide the backspace here, you'll see that the E is not there anymore. This /b has occurred like a backspace and it has removed this character E. Okay, though this is not much commonly used. /r, this stands for line feed, sorry, carriage return.
Sir, line feed also means new line, no sir?
Yes, I am going to tell you the difference. The difference varies from operating system to operating system. On Windows, if you give /n only, what will happen? Suppose if I write hello world. Now if you give only /n, it will change in the y direction only, and it will start printing here welcome to C. Okay, so this is what in fact is a line feed that gives a new line. What /r does is that it returns the carriage from all the way towards the leftmost point of the screen. So on the Windows, to give a proper new line, you have to give both /n and /r. Okay, /n on Windows, /n changes only the y direction. It does not resets the x value. Okay, whereas on Linux, /n is itself is sufficient. So that's why when programming on Linux system, you will never see the use of /r. Okay, this is carriage return, returning the cursor all the way towards its first position. On Linux, action itself is sufficient. हाँ बोलो.
विंडोज में भी /n सफिशिएंट ही है, मैं यूज करता हूँ विंडोज.
I think, which compiler do you use? Visual Studio Code?
Visual Studio.
Yes, in the Visual Studio that is sufficient, /n. But if you use a Turbo C or something like that, check it out. Though I have programmed on Windows in much long ago, but this is what was generally known at one time with the difference between Windows and Linux. Okay. In general, the fact is most operating systems is following the path of Linux in this case as well. So generally, in today's world, /r is now obsolete. And as we have said, though as I've said, I have left programming on Windows much long ago. As we have said, even on Visual Studio Code, that means the Windows is also taking this same path. So I think /r is becoming obsolete from Windows from now on as well. Okay. So in fact, there are multitudes of several /then characters, and they carry some particular meaningful value, but it does not work before every character there. As for example, suppose if you write say /m or /o, okay. If you compile this, you will see that unknown escape sequence /o, and when you will print this, you will see that it has no effect. It only has provided a warning that /o is an unknown escape sequence, right? And simply / does not have any effect there. Whereas maybe some before other characters like /e, it may carry some meaning. As you can see, there is no warning generated, so /e carries some meaning as escape sequences, okay, which is not much used. And as you can see that it /e remove the next character, like /b removes the previous character, /e removes the next character. H, then /e remove the next character L, and only L and O got printed. So that's what /e does, but /e is not available on Windows as far as I know, but still you can check it out. But on Linux system, the /e it serves the next character as well. So / may carry some meaning before prior to any particular character, or it may not carry meaning prior to any particular character. If it carries some meaning to that particular character, that / and that character together is going to create some meaningful escape sequence. Now, after having all these, what if I really want to print a / here? I want to print the / here, like you asked that what if I want to print a path containing the /. I want to print the / now. So in that scenario, what we'll do is that we'll provide double /. The first / this works as the escape character, that removes any meaning from next /. In short, if you write two / together, it will eventually print a single /. The first / being the escape character. As you can see that suppose I want to really print a / here, H/ELLO. It does not carry any meaning. So for that I'll write just two /. And if you compile and execute it, as you can see, the / has been printed here. Okay. Similarly, this, if I write this, then you'll see WEL/TCOME. There will be no tab now. There will be no tab character now. Okay. Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I'll keep my discussion up to this today. In fact, there are several characters like percentage, which cannot also be printed normally. But what meaning percentage has, you'll understand that when I'll discuss about the variables and how to print variables. Right? They carry the format specifiers, but I'll discuss about them in details later. But percentage also has a special meaning in printf. So what if you want to print percentage slash percentage? This will print a percentage.
So 2 times percentage will also print a percentage. No?
Yes, 2 times percentage also prints the percentage. In both way you can print it. Okay. Just let me check. Okay. So as for example, if I provide 2 percentages here, this will print a percentage here. Or if I provide a slash percentage here, okay, slash percentage does not work. I'm sorry for that. So if you want to print a percentage, that was a mistake from my side. Anyway, I would check here. So double percentage would print a percentage. Very good. So that was a mistake from my side. So slash percentage will not work. But what it does work, with every mistake you get to know something new. Slash t, but from where this success became. So as it turns out, CO slash percentage ME slash percentage M, it created the complete a new word success, right? I have to check it out. As you can see, it has randomly given the word success only this slash percentage M. Okay, in fact, there are several such hidden gems within the C programming language here and there. Truth to be told, about which most of which are rare, and it is a lifetime task to know the complete all these hidden gems of a particular programming language. As for example, this one slash percentage M, this is the first time I myself even seeing happening. Why it created this success word suddenly, that I have to check it out. But but the generative interests. And okay, so any other query regarding today's discussion?
Sir, which code editor you suggested me to check in Windows?
In Windows, okay, see, in Windows, if you want to program, you should always use Visual Studio Code. Okay, but Turbo C was a very old editor which is not used today. So I think on Turbo C that was slash and slash r that would give the new line. But if you want to write the professional programming on Windows, always use Visual Studio Code. That's what I suggest.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Any other query? Any other query? Okay, so I'll keep my discussion up to this. We'll see you on next Thursday, I think, right? Next Thursday. So I'm stopping the sharing and I'm stopping the recording.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.